Welcome to this presentation. Before we begin, I would like to introduce my YouTube channel, BL Nongsap, where you can access a wide range of educational resources.
The channel is organized into playlists covering pedagogy, ICT, training reports, internship materials, and many other resources designed to improve classroom practices and support the professional development of both teachers and learners.
I warmly invite you to subscribe and explore the content to enrich your academic and professional journey. Let's start.
All right, today we're jumping right into a question that's, at the very heart of every single classroom. What do our teachers actually need to help students thrive? And let me tell you, the answer, it might not be what you think.
So, what's the magic wand for making education better? Is it just about throwing more money at it? Or more tech? More regulations? Well, the research points to something way more basic, something that all starts with one simple act.
Yep, it all comes down to just listening. The big idea here is pretty straightforward. We can't really empower our teachers, and of course our students, if we don't even know what they're dealing with day in and day out.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? How do we actually support our educators for the kind of learning that's happening in the 21st century? It feels like this huge global challenge. But you'll see, the answers can be surprisingly close to home.
So to get some real answers, we're going to dive deep into this really fascinating study from the West Jantia Hills in India. It was done by DIET Thadlaskein, and what they did was brilliant. They went straight to the source. They asked the teachers themselves what they needed most. And listen, we're not talking about just a few opinions here. Get this, they talked to 312 teachers. 312 from both lower and upper primary schools. So what we get is this incredibly clear, detailed picture of what's really going on inside those classrooms. Okay, so the study's mission was actually pretty simple, but really powerful. Step 1, figure out what's already going well in the classroom. Step 2, pinpoint the exact areas where teachers need more support. And Step 3, turn all that knowledge into a real, practical plan for better training.
So what did they find out? Well, before we get to the areas needing help, the wish list, let's talk about the good stuff. Because it turns out these teachers are already doing some amazing work with a really modern and effective mindset.
Okay, and this first point is huge. The researchers asked them if they saw students as just empty vessels waiting to be filled with knowledge. And the teachers? Overwhelmingly, they said no way. That is a massive break from those old-school top-down teaching styles.
And this really gets to the core of it, right? These teachers don't see themselves as just lecturers standing at the front of the room. They see themselves as facilitators. For them, getting students actively involved isn't just some nice little bonus, it's absolutely essential for creating a classroom that's engaging and, just as importantly, free from fear. And look, this isn't just them saying the right things. This mindset is actually showing up in what they do. We're talking about all sorts of different teaching methods, kids working in groups, hands-on activities, constant feedback and assessment. It's the whole package, all the signs of a really modern, effective classroom. So, okay, we've got these teachers with a modern mindset. They're using all these great techniques, which leads to the obvious question, right? What's the missing piece? What do they need to really kick things up a notch? And the number one thing they asked for, well, it might surprise you. It wasn't about getting the latest fancy technology or some wild new theory. Nope. It was about getting back to the basics. Teachers want more training on how to create and use really effective, hands-on teaching aids and materials. And if you break it down, you start to see some really interesting details. While both lower and upper primary teachers put teaching aids at the top of their list, their other priorities were a bit different. The lower primary teachers were focused on things like environmental education and making their classrooms more inclusive. Meanwhile, the upper primary teachers were thinking more about integrating those critical 21st century skills. Okay, so we have all this amazing information. Now what? Well, the great thing about this study is that it doesn't just identify the gaps. It actually gives us a clear blueprint for how to move forward. And the recommendations are super clear and practical. First off, training needs to be hands-on and activity-based, just like the classrooms they're trying to create. Second, keep the focus on those modern, child-centered teaching styles. Third, you gotta support the whole teacher, not just their teaching skills, but their psychosocial well-being too. And finally, this can't be a one-time thing. It needs to happen every year for all in-service teachers.
At the end of the day, here's the bottom line.
Empowered teachers create effective learning environments, which means empowered students. It's that simple. When we give our educators the specific support and the tools they are literally asking for, we're not just investing in them, we're investing in the future of every single kid that walks into their classroom.
And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. This study gives us a fantastic model from one district in India, but it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How can we make sure the teachers in our own communities, in our own local schools, are being heard? How can we make sure we're not just asking them what they need, but actually listening to their answers?
This video is prepared by Shri BL Nomsap, Diet Thadlaskein. Once again, make sure to share, like and subscribe and give your valuable positive feedback and comments. Thank you.